Happy Tuesday, folks. Great to be with you. Welcome to the You Are Worthy Network. Appreciate each one of you. Our group continues to grow by leaps and bounds, which I'm super grateful to each one of you that comments on our interviews, that is sending me messages. The support has been overwhelming in a wonderful way, and I just want to tell you guys that I'm grateful for each one of you. And I know it's Tuesday and you're now really focused on the middle of your work week. Well, kind of the middle, Tuesday afternoon. And probably you've gotten back into your routine from the weekend, and it's a great time. It's always a great time for me to remind you that you are worthy of love, respect, and success. No matter how your day's going, no matter how your week's going, no matter how your year has gone, you are worthy of those things. So I'm grateful to be able to be the one to tell you that. I'm super excited today to introduce you to our guest. She is fascinating. She is warm. She is multi-talented, and I'm just getting warmed up. So let me tell you a little bit about Kendra. Kendra Kessel is a stress and burnout expert. Now, I usually don't interrupt reading a bio, but see, I believe God brought Kendra to help me because he knows I need help with those two things. And you guys just happen to get help along the way also. But anyway, I digress. She is a stress and burnout expert, wellness educator, and speaker who helps high achievers and busy parents reduce stress and reclaim their energy without sacrificing success. With over 20 years of experience in wellness, fitness, and stress management, she's guided thousands, including CEOs, Grammy winners, and elite athletes, through practical science backed strategies for lasting calm and balance. Creator of the micro reset method, Kendra teaches small neuroscience based actions that retrain the nervous system and rewire stress in real time. Known for her approachable, results driven style, she transforms complex science into simple, actionable steps that help people not just manage stress, but master calm as a lifelong skill. Wow. Wow. I'm ready to hire you as a coach right now. I don't even know what you do specifically, but listening to, I'm fascinated by what I just read, really. Kendra, welcome to the You Are Worthy Network. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you so much, Steve. I feel so honored and blessed to be here today and to be part of your amazing podcast and what you're doing to help so many people and spread the message of love and God and worthiness to so many across the country. I really appreciate that.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome. It's a bunch of fun, and it's guests like you and those that are watching that makes it go. So thank you, thank you. Tell us where you live and tell us a little bit about your family.
I am in the Denver area, and before that, I was in California, and before that, I was in Arizona. So it's been quite, and Minnesota. So I've had all of the different climates and different locations. I do love Colorado. It's beautiful. My parents and my siblings and all my relatives are still in Arizona though. So I try to get down there as much as possible. And I have two young kids and they are the joy of my life.
Yeah, so okay. I've never been to Denver, and I think you and I were talking when we
Mhm.
first connected several weeks ago. It's interesting because my wife, um, she's a horse lover, and we have a horse that we board about 15 minutes from here. We're in Tennessee, by the way, for those of you that don't know where I live. But was talking to Kendra about the fact that my wife has a new job earlier this year. She's the administrative person for a mobile horse vet company that has like 650 clients in the Denver area. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll meet Kendra one day, if we ever make it out to the Denver area for my wife's work. But okay, How long have you been in Denver, and would you consider Denver home, or is it Arizona?
Oh, that's a hard one. I have been in Denver. It'll in December it'll be a year or 2 years. And I still have my heart is still in Arizona, but I love the people out here. I've built such a great community, personally as well as work-wise, and just having that has just been invaluable. And so I have to say my heart is in both places. I call both home.
Yeah, that's fair for sure.
Mhm.
Um, so what do you do yourself for fun and to help you relax?
That's a good question. Well, first, my kids. I am thoroughly enjoying kind of reliving my childhood with them, doing all the like air clay and all these weird stuff that I didn't have as a kid, and being able to experience that joy of just creativity and newness and the way they see snow, the way they just see life. It's been such, that's been one of my favorite things. Um, and for myself, I love being outside. Anything outside, outdoors is just one of the ways I love to just relax. I love exercise. I love lifting weights, and anything creative. I started writing and playing instruments when I was 5, writing songs. And so for me, that has always been something that is my one of my number ones for just relaxing and unwinding and just really firing up my creative juices. And cooking, yeah. I like anything creative, cooking, just and being just really active. I find just sitting down just to be boring. So I do try to just be active and doing things that just light me up.
Are you a big hiker?
I would have to say there's different levels of hiking as I've learned being in Denver. I enjoy,
Yeah.
the 1 to 2 hour hike, maybe 3, but nothing 6 hours or anything like that.
You do have to factor in the altitude, right?
Yes, and I learned that the hard way. I was in California basically at sea level. And moving here, I'm in great shape, so I was like, "Yes, let's go climb a mountain." And I learned very quickly it's a whole different ball game out here.
Different levels of great shape too, right?
Yeah. So that's been kind of an eye opener for me.
Yeah, I definitely want to ask you since you alluded to it. Um, Tell us a little bit about you. You don't just dabble in music. What instruments do you play? But also, your voice is an instrument. Tell us a little bit how you got involved with music.
Oh wow. So my parents are amazing, and um I have 3 other siblings, and from a young age they told us to pick we were going to play piano and then we could choose another instrument. And so immediately I started piano at 5, and then I chose violin as my second instrument. And writing songs was really what I loved doing. Even when I was 5, I was just sitting on the piano making up my own little songs, and it was something I loved. And from the time I was young, I said, I want to be a professional songwriter. That's what I wanted to do. Um, so I got my degree from the University of Arizona in education because I also love kids. I love helping people. I love educating people. And after college, I knew that working a 9 to 5 was not me. It was not what God put me on this earth to do. Um, and so I moved to Los Angeles after college, and I had a fitness and wellness business. And I did music on the side because LA is the mecca for music at the time. And so it was really rewarding because I was able to do both simultaneously, and they both kind of helped me balance and kind of just achieve that balance and achieve. I would say it boosted not only my music because I had a good, normal, stable business that I ran, but it also helped my business when things would get really stressful. And as entrepreneurs, it's not an easy journey. But I had that creative outlet as a way to just balance myself, and it made both even better.
Yeah. So, how have you parlayed that? you play piano, violin, you aspired to be a songwriter. What do you do with music these days? Is it mostly a stress reliever? Is it a little creativity on the side? And we're not going to spend a ton of time talking about this because we want to get into what you're doing now. But I'm going to go ahead and brag about you a little bit. So Kendra released a new. When did you release it? Yesterday?
Oh, today.
Today. I
Yeah.
just happened to come across her feed today. Obviously I always check out what guests are doing before I interview them. And she released a new song today. Guys, she's not just dabbling with music as a hobby. She's really, really good. And she's got an incredible voice. You can tell them where to find your music, but I just tell us a little bit more about what you're doing with music these days.
So I did have a great career in music. The money was not great. It's really hard to make it as a professional musician, singer-songwriter. But it does really actually work with the stress part of what I do now. So I still release music, I still write, I still play. I play a bunch of other instruments as well. And it's for not only my mental health, my physical health, but it's fun for me to be able to share that. And I look at creative outlets um, as a way to just ha have part of yourself out there. And my kids, Mom, did you make that? That's your song. When I got pregnant, I decided to create my first children's album. I've always written just mainstream music. And I decided to attempt my first children's album, which is, you wouldn't believe it, but it's actually a lot more challenging for me at least, than writing what I've been writing since I was 5. Um, but I wrote and released an entire kids album, and it actually won about 7 different awards, which was
Oh.
really cool. And those were great experiences. But anytime you create something, you're giving back, you're putting part of yourself out there, but it's also your legacy. My
Mm.
kids, when they grow up, they'll be like, that's mom's song. Those are mom's songs. And it shows them that you don't have to just have your business, your very structured, organized company or business or work. You can still find so much joy in life having a hobby or a side project, or for me, like a side music career on the side. And all those things make us who we are. We are not just one-dimensional people who we're here to work, we're here to do this and this. No, we are multifaceted. And
Yep.
with clients, I always really try to open them up to trying creative things. And what I've found is that most people, they say, I'm not creative. And I'm like, no, you are. Trust me, you are. And we start diving deep into exploring different creative avenues, and the joy on their faces when they come back to me and they say, oh my goodness, I just wrote a kid's book, or I'm really good at poetry. I didn't know I was so good at painting or photography. And you just see them light up with joy because they found a gift that they didn't remember that they had. And we have so many gifts. God gives us so many gifts, but we don't take time to really try to explore those and see hey, maybe I'm really good at this. Why not try? And so that's been something with friends, with clients. I'm like, do creative stuff. See, it sparks up your whole world. It brings more joy. It adds to your legacy, and it really helps with stress at the same time.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if someone takes me up on the fact that I said you've got an incredible voice and that's piqued their interest, is your music available on iTunes or somewhere else easy to find?
Yeah, it's on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you can stream music, and it's under my name, which is Kendra Kessel.
Very easy to find. Check her out. I'm telling you, she can sing.
Well, thank you.
Um, so how in the world did you get involved with stress and burnout? I'm assuming, and I know what that can do. I'm assuming there's a story somewhere. It didn't just happen haphazardly.
Yes, there's always a story behind things like this. So as I mentioned, I started working in the health and wellness field when I was 18. And I had always put fitness, nutrition, sleep, all those kind of at the top. And stress was something that I integrated with it, but it wasn't one of the focuses I typically used. And then when there was a time, I had two kids under two. I had two
Mm,
companies I was running, and
mm,
I had no outside help. So because it was COVID, I think, yeah, it was right around COVID time, right before. And I had a death of one of my best friends.
mm.
I Not many people know this, but I got a call from the FBI one day and found out I was a victim of a Ponzi scheme. So there went a
Oh
lot,
my goodness.
yes, there went a lot of money. And there was, oh, and three emergency surgeries that were all in that 1 to 2 years as well. And everything just kept piling up, piling up, piling up. And from the outside, like people on Facebook were like, wow, you're super mom. You can do everything. And I felt like I was just dying inside because I'd be waking up at 3 a.m. trying to work on my businesses, nursing, taking care of my 19-month-old. Like it was just one
Wow.
thing after another. And I kept saying, I'm strong. I can do this. It's the I can do anything kind of mindset. Exactly, exactly. And then one too many things piles up, and eventually you're in complete burnout. And your whole life just crumbles down when you hit burnout. You can't be present for your kids. You can't think. You don't sleep. You're not even caring what you eat because you can't. You have nothing left in you to your workouts suffer, and everything just kind of goes downhill from there. And at that point I realized that yes, nutrition's great, yes, having great workouts is awesome, yes, having a nice wellness routine, but stress, if that's not under control, everything starts crumbling down. And I had to go on my own journey. Of course, I had a background with stress, but it wasn't my focus at the time. And I had to learn how to get myself out of an intense burnout. And of course, I went down the rabbit hole with research. Every book, every course, every class, I did them all. And it was interesting because typical, psychiatrists, doctors, um, counselors, they all just say, well, do yoga and meditate. And I was like, nope. And that was basically because a lot of people don't really understand it or know what to do about it. And so they just say, well, yoga and meditation, that's what we have been programmed is to the two solutions for stress and just to relax. And that was not, of course, I had tried them and I'm like, these are not resonating with me. So that's when I really started doing the deep work on how to get myself out of it. And I started basically what I use now, which is the micro reset method and optimizing my wellness. And there's a lot of different other strategies I started using, and it was actually really easy. Um, but I just kept with those consistent daily habits I was starting to create. And within 1, 2 months, I was feeling like myself again. And at that moment, I was like, it wasn't that, one class you take once a week, or it wasn't that spa trip or the massage. It wasn't that. It was the little things you do daily to get your nervous system from a panic state to more of a calm state. And at that point, I really wanted to share that with other people. And so I did have my clients and I started kind of integrating those with them, and the response was all the same. They're like, wow, they didn't even, it's not like it's something that happens in one day, but you just keep going on along with it. And after a couple weeks, they're like, wow, I'm actually feeling better. And before you know it, you start feeling calmer every single day. And when you do have a stressor that hits you, it's not a big deal. You know how to work through it. You know how to change your mindset around it. And so you almost feel like you can handle anything that really comes your way because you've developed the skills and the tools to really combat that. And so it's been something that has been really, really rewarding for me because it's I love the wellness and health industry, but to be able to really help people with something is kind of like when you're in that burnout, when you're highly stressed, there's the no worse feeling. There is no worse feeling. And so to be able to help people when they're at their lowest and they just don't know what to do has just been such an honor. And I absolutely love it.
I can see you're passionate about it. So you have that trademark, so you discovered the method, right?
Yeah, so I took what I had been doing for years and what had been working with different people, and I decided, I'm like, well, why in the world am I not actually creating the system for it instead of just working with my one-on-one clients with what I was doing? And so that kind of at that point, I'm like, oh, I need to just take this and make it and simplify it for people. I think one of the biggest problems with the current stress stuff out there is you have, and I love these like visualization. You can go to the Calm app, which I think is great. And there's also the other end of like stress management, which is very like scientific, really deep approach. And so I blend the two together and just try to make it easy, simple, and effective, and using a lot of science-backed strategies as well.
Are you able to give us a glimpse into how it works?
Yeah, I can. So with the micro reset method, basically, when someone comes to me and they're really stressed out, the last thing you want to do is really dive deep into what their stressors are. Their nervous system's already on fire. And so the first step I do is to use micro resets throughout their day to start getting their nervous system more calm. And it's something simple. I'm sure you have habits that you do every day. You wake up, you go to the bathroom, you wash your hands, you have your coffee, whatever your routine is, and it's just automatic. And I start integrating different calming type techniques throughout the day. And I work with people. I have like 200 tools, like potential tools that they can use. And I'm like, let's see what works for you because you may hate doing this method or this technique, and another person may love it. For instance, one technique is actually, it's called body shaking. So, and it's been scientifically backed. When you're in fight or flight, if you stand up and just start shaking your entire body, it actually puts you back into a more relaxed state. Like think of an animal. When you have an animal and they start shaking because they were scared of something. Have you seen that before?
Yep. Yep.
That's automatically how they were designed, and that's their body trying to bring them back into the rest and digest stage. And so, as humans, if we actually do that, like if you're really stressed out, if you shake your body, kind of like an animal when they're scared, it actually can reset your nervous system for that time. And so, that's like one of the 200 plus tools, or even doodling.
Wow.
Yeah, even doodling. If you have, especially, I work with a lot of kind of CEO types and they're at their desk and they're working hard. And I just say, put a piece of paper and some pens or whatever you like to. And when you start feeling stressed, if you're on a work call, just start doodling. And what's interesting is they did a study and they found that doodling when you're listening to a conversation actually makes you retain the information more than if you were not doodling.
How fascinating.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've never, I guess, I guess technically I've not heard the term body shake, but as a public speaker, I do that. You know, you shake
Yeah,
it
yeah.
all out so you're not nervous energy and all that. So that does make sense. So you've helped thousands of people with this, right?
Mhm.
So let me ask you this. And this those that watch all my interviews, I don't know if everybody's ever watched all of them, but those that watch a lot of my interviews knows that once in a while I would do this. And I think you're a great guest to do this with. So if you could think of three words, just three words to describe, take a sampling of all these clients you've worked with
Mhm.
and think of three words that they would use to describe how they felt before working with you. So
Before,
I want you to think of three words before they work with you and three words after.
okay. I would say stressed, confused because they
Hmm,
don't know what to do. They're just confused. They don't know where to begin, and hopeless.
I can see that. Stressed, confused, and hopeless before.
Hmm.
And then you get involved with one or more of your 200 tools and they come out a few weeks later?
It depends. It depends on the person. And um, I won't get off topic, but it takes a while to create new habits. And so
Sure.
you do start feeling better. You start because you start sleeping better when you're more calm and relaxed. Now your sleep's improved. Now you have more energy. Now you can get back to the things you love doing. So it is a process. And then once they've used the micro resets, at that point, then we can go dive deep into some what the biggest stressors are and go down that rabbit hole and really try to help them with those big stressors that they have in their life. But to go back to how they feel after is typically they feel just clarity. They're
Okay.
clear because now they're like, oh, I know how to solve this problem. So they're empowered, I guess empowered too. But they feel happier. That's the comment I get all the time is they just feel happier. They have more zest in life, so to speak.
So what I don't want to put words in your mouth. So I just want to make sure I heard you right. So clarity, empowered, happier.
Yes. And of course, calmer. That's kind of was kind of a given.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe too, hopeful.
Yes, yes, for sure.
I mean, we could go on and on for sure. It is hard to narrow it down to three words, but I mean, even if I just said, okay, from stressed to clarity, from confused to empowered, from hopeless to hopeful. I mean, you
Hmm.
see, there's a huge transformation there
Hmm. Yeah,
that you've helped them with the system that you've developed. I mean, that's huge.
I love
I know you wouldn't brag on yourself, so I did it, but that's amazing. What are you working on right now that you could share with us? Is it, and there's no right or wrong answer. Is there more of the same? Because you're helping lots of people, and this is very much needed. Or is there something new, exciting you can share a little bit with us? Just kind of help us out with what you're working on next.
What I'm doing is I'm actually taking the system that I have been using all these years, and I will be working on creating an online program for people versus just having one-on-one clients or group coaching. So I want it to be accessible to everyone. Even if people can't afford the coaching, then I have a program ready for them. So my plan is early 2026 to have that program available and to also, community is such a huge thing, and loneliness is one of the biggest stressors that people face, and they're all just interconnected. So my goal is to also create a community, just a fun, creative place where people can connect with other people and it reduces stress. And I'll do workshops and different classes, and we can also do creative things together. So I really want to focus on that community aspect because I feel like that is one of the biggest ways that we can really help each other and reduce stress.
Now, I love that idea, by the way. Is that community, do you know at this point, is that going to be a Facebook community, a school group? Do you know what platform you're going to use?
Yeah, I'll probably use something like school or go high level communities just so I can really give my all to that. And I have a Facebook. I haven't been very active on it lately, but also redo that Facebook group so that they have resources to them.
Yeah, that's so good. Keep us posted on that for sure as that develops. Um, so it sounds like you've really found your sweet spot. You still get to do your love for music, for a creative outlet, for a stress outlet. You're still putting it out there, but you're also helping clients. Um, like we just gave the example of some of the expressions that they would give working with you. I mean, night and day, obviously. So your results are great. You're helping many people. You've got this new group coming down the line, this new community. Very exciting time for you. A lot of success, a lot of productivity. Sounds like you've learned to live well balanced. Um, after learning the hard way, like a lot of us, going 110 miles an hour, 7 days a week, 26 hours a day doesn't work. But was there a time in your life where you didn't feel so worthy?
Yeah, that's interesting. I am so grateful for my parents for always instilling us that we are loved and that God made us perfect. And that is something I was hearing since the time I was just a little child. And I think the challenge became getting older and just being sensitive to everything around you. And you start looking at people's like their success and you feel, oh, I'm not there yet.
Mm,
I'm not good enough. I, you know, then you see the people like the models and you see just different people online and you feel like, oh, I'm not pretty enough. And you start comparing yourself to the people who have succeeded more, who look better, all those different things, who have done what you want to do or want to potentially become. And so you start feeling your self-worth kind of crumble because you've attached it to external things. And when you attach your worthiness to external things, you'll never truly be at peace because those external things can be taken away in a blink of an eye. And you need to find your self-worth and your love for yourself without any external things, just who you are. If everything in the whole world was stripped away, your job, your looks, everything, your possessions, and it was just you there, can you love yourself? Do you feel worthy in that raw state? And if you can do that, then you will be at peace because that's what God put us on this earth to do, to be at peace with who we are because he made us perfect.
I love that wisdom. Do not attach your worthiness based on external things. That's very, very wise. And I even appreciate the example you used of, models and whatnot. And, it got to me thinking as you were explaining that, like the comparison trap has always been there,
Hmm.
right? We've got magazines, we've got, television shows, we've got commercials, buy this, look like this, all that stuff. But it's just magnified thousands of times over, in my opinion, with social media.
Yeah.
And people are showing you, their highlight reels, and some people are vulnerable and share, the ups and downs, which I always appreciate. Actually, takes a lot of courage to do that on social media. um, but the comparison game is endless if you let it, and that creates internal anxiety that's not needed.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you pointing out that fact about not being attaching our worthiness to external things for sure. Very, very wise. Um, Kendra, where can people find you to learn more about what you're doing?
You can go to kendrakessel.com, and on social medias, just go to Kendra Kessel. And yeah, pretty simple.
KendraKessel.com. We will put her links in the description. We always do that so you guys can find our guest, and if you want to learn more about them. And Kendra's fascinating. I hope you do check her out. Um, what words of encouragement would you leave our viewers with today?
This doesn't have a whole lot to do with stress, but I just have to say that kindness, just being kind, being loving, being a caring person, that changes the world more than anything else. And just the impact of that, of just giving love and showing love to other people, is what does change the world.
I love it. One act at a time, right?
Exactly. And you never know who you're touching. You never know whose lives you're impacting just by trying to be a loving, kind person to them.
I love it. I was in Walmart a couple of weeks ago. Had to run in for a quick errand, and there was a lady, I think, yeah, she had a small child with her, but they were just looking at some clothes, and there wasn't a lot of people over there. So I kind of entered this space. She was maybe 20, 30 feet away, and she was dancing and singing to the song blaring on the speakers above, and she was just having the time of her life. She didn't even know I'd entered the space, so to speak. And I went about and did my stuff, but I told her, I said, I think you missed your calling. I said, you're really, really good. And she just blushed and smiled. But it's That
Mm-hmm.
didn't take 5 seconds of my time to
Yep.
encourage her like that. And I need to do it more. But
Mm-hmm.
think about if we just looked for opportunities like that to encourage one another, make the world go round. I think it's so true, right? We try to overcomplicate it, but kindness does change the world for sure. Um, Kendra, I want to personally thank you for sharing your heart with us and your wisdom and your skill set with us. I know we could have talked a lot more. You've got, you're multi-talented and have so much going on. Maybe down the road we can bring you back. I would love to dig a little more into all your talents, but I definitely think your heart has come shining through to the viewers, and I know they're going to be drawn to you and what you do and who you are, more importantly. And I just want to thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor and a privilege just to be on here and to get to chat with you. So I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for that.
Of course, guys, you're worthy. You're worthy of love, respect, and success. I appreciate you. I know Kendra appreciates you. And your story's not over yet. Don't give up. You have hope. As long as you have hope, you can keep going. And I can't wait to see and hear about what God does in many of your lives. Stay blessed. Choose gratitude today. Even if you're not having the greatest day, you'd be amazed at how just going and jotting down a few things on a notepad or on your phone under notes. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful a roof over my head. I'm grateful my car started. I'm grateful there's food in the refrigerator. I'm grateful the hot water heater works when it's 10 degrees in Denver, Colorado, and I need the shower to be hot, not cold, or wherever you live, right? You get the point. It's amazing how those 5 or 10 things can snowball to 30 or 40 in just 5 or 10 minutes. Choose gratitude today. And I'm grateful for you, Kendra. I'm grateful for each one of you watching. Appreciate you. Take care. Until next time, we'll see you soon.